Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today's episode of Inside the Mesh, a podcast designed to highlight the excellent work of each one of the CIC analysts, team leads, security specialists, and even co op students that are part of the Cyber Intelligence Center at Bell Cyber. My name is Diego Ramirez. I'm the Senior Manager of the Cyber Intelligence Center, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Jalen Brown, one of the most successful CIC analysts that we have today. Jalen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Diego.
What would you say are some of the most important tasks that you do on a daily basis as a CIC analyst?
First most, I would start by coming in and performing my health checks. The health checks are critical with the infrastructure of the client. You check the routers, the firewalls, and Windows devices, etc., just to make sure everything is logging and everything's working so we can be fully visible on the client's environment. After that, I would have my daily Teams call with my team to see if there's any pending tasks or anything we might need help with from our team lead. After that, I check my email to see if there's any pending incidents from the night before or the afternoon before. As I'm the primary analyst, I would need to check and make sure everything's taken care of. And then after that, I check my active CIC, anything on my queue, and just further my day on.
You made a great point. I also agree with the fact that running health checks to make sure that critical infrastructure is logging, it's one of the most important tasks on a daily basis, right? Basically, the more we can see, the more we can protect for our clients. Jalen, this job requires you to be sometimes fully concentrated on the details at each one of the investigations that you are performing for our clients, right? What would you say helps you stay focused on the details without sacrificing the quality of the work that you do?
As an analyst, I would say prioritizing your incidents and staying organized is the main thing I do as an analyst. For example, I organize my tickets by priority. I start with the highest priority incident, I start with the critical most incident, then move to the high. These incidents have the most possibility of causing an actual security incident on the client's infrastructure. Then I would go to the medium and low. Helping me do this tickets, I like using the AI features we now have at Bell Cyber.
Jalen, you introduced one of the hottest topics in cybersecurity, which is artificial intelligence, for obvious reasons, right? How would you say that the autonomous SOC at Bell Cyber is helping you and your clients at this point of time?
The autonomous SOC at Bell Cyber, I would say, it makes me a better analyst. I can focus on the things that matter. I become something of a threat hunter, going into the SIM, getting details, rather than having to focus on lower priority incidents. Everything will be auto-enriched with the information that I need even before I get to the ticket, leaving me and the customer with all the information we need to feel satisfied in the investigation. It helps me focus on what matters, and it teaches me as well what the steps it goes through to make me understand more while also introducing more features that we didn't have before. I spoke about auto-escalation, enrichment as well, but I didn't talk about auto-containment. For tickets that would be, say, for example, high severity or critical, we could have a malicious IP. We can actually go and contain the malicious IP without even waking up the customer. It would auto-contain the incident without anybody having to do anything, making it easier for us and them in less than 5 minutes.
You mentioned something really critical at this point, which is basically making sure that the threats are auto-contained before they can harm the organizations. So it is a good example of basically we don't really need to wake up anyone at night to take an action that the automation can take for us, which is blocking an IP at a firewall, maybe isolating a user from the network, or maybe taking other actions based on the technologies that the clients are using. That's pretty much the benefit of implementing the autonomous SOC. Jalen, what tools are indispensable at your job as a CIC analyst?
As an analyst, we use all the tools in the industry, starting with the SIM tool. With the SIM tool, I can check any event type, raw logs, all the information I need to get my investigation over with and provide the customer with all the information they need for each and every incident. Then we also have the EDR tool, the endpoint detection and response. With this tool, we can go further into than even the SIM tool can and check any malware, any malicious information inside an actual endpoint device, which could be a laptop, a PC, a server, anything in terms of that. And then I like to use our threat intelligence tool where we could check the IP reputation, the URL, and even the hash file. Adding that all together, we have the mesh architect putting it at Bell Cyber, putting everything together as an analyst.
Jalen, how does it feel collaborating with all our employees and all our talent inside the CIC?
I feel like that's the best part about working in the CIC. If you ask me, I think everybody in there is talented and everybody's a professional in their own way. We have the best analysts, and no matter who you sit beside, there's always something to learn. They help you with any of your investigations that you need to do. They help make your thorough investigations, thorough analysis of everything you need. It doesn't matter who you sit beside. It doesn't even matter if you talk to them or not. There's always something you could do.
That's great feedback, Jalen. I also feel that collaboration is everything in this job, right? In this industry, you need to be able to work with the best of breed of every single solutions, right? The best analysts, the best team leads, the best security architects, and that's ultimately how we feed our solution by pretty much learning from the talent that we have and by implementing all strategies and all solutions as part of our added value to our clients. Jalen, sometimes fresh grads and other security professionals usually ask what is required to work at a security operations center or at a cyber intelligence center like the one at Bell Cyber. What would you recommend them to learn, and how would you say they can land a job in cybersecurity?
I would say getting in the cybersecurity field, it's hard. It's not easy. There's a lot of competition, and everybody knows that. To answer that question, I'll go back to talk more about myself. I went to school for IT and got a good networking background. I feel that's something really important in cybersecurity that they don't talk about enough. After that, I started an IT job. I learned more about it. I worked with switches and routers and helped me put more foundation on it. But moving forward after that, you need cybersecurity background as well. I took certification in cybersecurity, starting with the CompTIA Security Plus, and I added on that with the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. I feel like all these help me be a candidate and be in the workforce to get the job.
You mentioned something really important, and it's the fact that security professionals also need to know about computer networking. I also feel that that's one of the skills that are basically required to land a job in cybersecurity, if you want to be successful at least. And I think that's my take on that. Thank you, Jalen, for being part of today's episode.
Thank you for having me, Diego.
All right, thank you guys, and I'll see you next week on episode number 2 of Inside the Mesh.